Yes.
Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodhana Nana Bhaja Jana Ranjana 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 Jamuna Tira Vanajari Jamuna Tira Vanajari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai. Shri
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai. Jai
Jai.
Gaur Premanande.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you, Manisha. It's a very nice start. I'll go to the class. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mayham Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahakana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So welcome to this Wednesday evening Krishna Katha programs and ISP. Somehow Prabhu is busy, His Grace Masika Prabhu Maharaj, Masika Maharaj, many of you call him lovingly, that is very nice. He's busy somehow, and Mataji asked if I could give a class on this week. So although I sometimes utterly feel disqualified to give classes like this in this kind of platform, especially to devotees, but the request to serve is also difficult to deny. So here I am trying to share some of my experience in Krishna conscious life. So today I thought, because of this coronavirus, we are all afflicted in some way or other. Everybody is afflicted in one way or other. But at the same time, in the time of distress especially, we get closer to Krishna. Somehow that's how the situation is. Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Chaturvidha Vajante Mam, Jana Sukrutena Arjuna, Artha, Artharthi Jigyansu Gyanisha Bharatarsava. So there we see that four types of people come to Krishna who are like, excuse me, who are like, who have Sukritis. Krishna says in Gita, without Sukritis one cannot approach him. Of course, many devotees would ask Srila Prabhupada, how come we got attracted to Krishna? And Prabhupada said that qualification is given by me to you. So in this age of Kali, the Sukrita is very, mere great, it's very less. And like I was born and raised in a place, Bhubaneswar, and my parents are from like following Vaishnava culture. I grew up in that culture, every day eating prasadam practically offered to Krishna. But in our home, the plate that was used to offer to Krishna, the same plate I would be eating from. Later, when I came to ISKCON, I said, we cannot eat from that plate, we have to change it. Anyway, uh, so, so I had that privilege, Krishna's grace. But my connection with Krishna was not quite strong. I mean, like any other Hindu person. But by Prabhupada's grace, by devotees' grace, by Guru's grace, uh, I had developed some understanding, some taste, some connection to Krishna. And I feel really grateful. Yeah, in the time of distress, we turn to Krishna, and Krishna helps us through his devotees. Right? Uh, I'm sure many of you can connect what I'm speaking right now. But I see the kids of Silicon Valley, they're really security people, and they're born to families where it is already connected, and also they have the very good fortune of association of His Grace Vaisika Prabhu Nirgula Mataji. So nice culture, the nice nurturing, and they're blooming in Krishna consciousness. Yeah, but we should not take it for granted. That's there. So I was thinking about Krishna's compassion, uh, and I wanted to speak a little bit on that topic today, Krishna's Karuna, compassion. So I want to start the lecture with a verse from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, text 11. And all of us know this very verse. Ye athamam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajameham mama bhartavan vartante manushyaha partha sarvasa. It is a very popular verse, and that we recite this time and again. That as all surrender unto me, I reward them accordingly. Everyone follows my path in all respect, O Partha. So, can we scroll down to the purport? Yeah, thank you. So, this is a verse where Krishna actually says that he reciprocates accordingly. But we'll see that Krishna may say he reciprocates according to our surrender, but his reciprocation is actually huge. Uh, it's like uh, it's like Krishna is so great. He's so great. He's a great personality. He's supreme Lord. So even if reciprocate, suppose tiny amount, the tiny amount is huge for us, and we'll see in his activities that greatness in his reciprocation. So in one sense, I feel Krishna is very humble in showing I reciprocate according to people who approach me. And also, Prabhupada gives a very balanced purport here, but later Prabhupada also reveals in his purport in Srimad Bhagavatam how Krishna's reciprocation is very great and huge. So, I'll read this. Everyone is searching for Krishna in different aspects of his manifestations. Somehow I'm not able to read because these windows are coming. Can anybody adjust it a little bit? Balram Prabhu, can you adjust?
Should I zoom in?
Because these small windows are coming, maybe I have to do it something here. Yeah, I think we are good. Uh, yeah. Still, all of you are here. These small windows are coming.
So Prabhu,
Like I can see Sulabati.
you can minimize that. There's like a little tab on the top that has like a square, and you can just click on that.
Yeah. Then I'm able to see myself only. That is also blocking. I'm also blocking the purport. It's like the cloud covering Prabhupada's purport, it looks like. Can you scroll down a little bit down? Then I'll be able to see. Just 3 lines down, like go down, down, more down. No. I mean, I have to come up. I'm sorry. The purport,
Right.
first line. Yeah, that's it. Stay there.
Okay. Oh, because on the side. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I'm able to read now. So everyone is searching for Krishna in different aspects of his manifestations. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is partially realized in his impersonal Brahmajyoti effulgence, and as the all-pervading super soul dwelling within everything, including particles of atoms. But Krishna is fully realized only by his pure devotees. So what Srila Prabhupada is saying here, as we approach Krishna, Krishna manifests him accordingly. If we approach Krishna for artha, you know, then Krishna reciprocates by showing his opulent side, where he can actually give us monetary facility, financial or material facilities. When one is distressed, Krishna can actually remove the distress. So we see Krishna as somebody who removes the distress. And like that, the impersonal who are actually impersonal yogis, impersonalists who are actually uh, done away with their material desire, who actually have no more desire for any material pleasure, but they have some spiritual and connection where they want to experience the supreme Brahman. Krishna manifests to that. So like that different approach, Krishna manifests accordingly. That's what Srila Prabhupada is saying here. But Krishna is fully realized. Krishna gives himself fully when he sees there is pure devotional service. Consequently, Krishna is the object of everyone's realizations. So everybody approaches, everyone, Krishna says, everyone follows my path. We need something in life. We are all destitute in one sense or other, and we are looking for something in life. We are always feeling incomplete in some way or other, and we want to complete ourselves. And that's how when we approach Krishna in one way or other, and Krishna accordingly fulfills. So in the transcendental world also, Krishna reciprocates with his pure devotee in transcendental attitude, just as the devotee wants him. So in material world also we are incomplete. In spiritual world also, pure devotees, they're also incomplete. Their desires or karma are different. It's transcendental in nature. Mm. Transcendental nature means basically opposite of material nature, right? Or we can say it is beyond material nature. Anyway, so there also one devotee may want Krishna as supreme master, another is his personal friend, another as his son, and still another as his lover. Krishna rewards all the devotees equally according to their different intensities of love for him. In the material world, the same reciprocations of feelings are there, and they're equally exchanged by the Lord with different. Sorry, I lost. Again, you have to bring it down a little bit. Oh yeah, got it. Different types of worshippers. The pure devotees, both here and in the transcendental abode, associate with him in person and are able to render personal service to the Lord and thus derive transcendental bliss in his loving service. As for those who are impersonalist and who want to commit spiritual suicide by annihilating the individual existence of the living entity, Krishna helps also by absorbing them into his effulgence. So here we see how Srila Prabhupada is revealing that those who want to merge with the Lord is actually kind of committing spiritual suicide. Recently, one of in Bombay, one of the great Bollywood star, young man, he committed suicide. A lot of waves that went across Indian media. So it is a kind of frustration that the pain that people experience while living is so painful that pain of death seems to be less. So therefore, they prefer to commit suicide. Uh, but you know, in our Shastra, it is very clearly written that suicide is a Mahapapa. Mahapapa is the greatest sin because uh, if we're given some very nice gift, and instead of using that gift to bring pleasure to us, to bring pleasure to our friends and relatives, suppose we destroy that. Suppose somebody gives me a very nice, beautiful car, latest and with all kind of facility. I can use it to come to temple. I can take devotees to temple, and I can use that car in so many different ways. But instead of being frustrated for some reason, if I break down that whole car, then that's not a good reciprocation to the gift that we receive. So the human form of life is actually something that we can use to go back to Godhead. And we can use to help so many people, so many devotees. We can serve so many devotees, and so many things we can do. But because of some obstacles, if we try to destroy this, that's not a good idea. And Shastra very clearly says it's Mahapap. Anyway, the point is, uh, so when people are frustrated with material fulfillment, they want to kind of, if not material suicide, they're going to commit spiritual suicide, which is also equally condemned by spiritual, great devotees. Devotees want to serve Krishna under any circumstance. We see lives of Pandavas. We see so many devotees' life who are filled with so much of obstacles, but their love and devotion and service to Krishna never stopped. So that's what our inspiration is. Anyway, can we go back to the purport again? Yeah, thank you. So such impersonalists do not agree to accept the eternal, blissful personality of Godhead. Consequently, they cannot realize the bliss of transcendental personal service to the Lord, having extinguished their individuality. Some of them who are not formally situated even in the impersonal existence return to this material field to exhibit their dormant desires for activities. They are not admitted into the spiritual planets, but they're again given a chance to act on the material planets. For those who are fruitive workers, the Lord awards the desired results of their prescribed duties as Yajneswar. And those who are yogis seeking mystic powers are awarded such powers. In other words, everyone is dependent for success upon His mercy alone, and all kinds of spiritual processes are but different degrees of success in the same path. Unless, therefore, one comes to the highest perfection of Krishna consciousness, all attempts remain imperfect, as stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Akamaha sarvakamava moksha kamodarati tibrena bhakti yogena yajita purusham param. Whether one is without desire or with desires, or desirous of all fruitive results, or is after liberation, one should with all efforts try to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead for complete perfection, culminating in Krishna consciousness. So here Krishna, Srila Prabhupada is telling that all these different desires, whether material, even spiritual, uh, is not perfect till we come to the desire of pure devotional service or Krishna consciousness. After after desiring that pure Krishna consciousness, we will be fulfilled and will not desire anymore. That means uh, we will be desiring only to serve Krishna and derive maximum bliss out of that service in different relationships. And this verse very clearly describes the situation of this world, situation of material desires, situation of spiritual desires. In all situations, we depend on Krishna. And quoting Srimad Bhagavatam, under any circumstance, if we depend on Krishna and Tibrina, with deep intensity, one worships or thinks of Krishna, then they land up in Krishna consciousness. So that is the beauty of that verse. And we see various examples in Srimad Bhagavatam where even those who are not devotees, who intensely think of Krishna, they end up being in Krishna consciousness and receive Krishna's mercy. So why I'm saying this compassion of Krishna is great. Like Srila Prabhupada used to say, like Hare Krishna movement is like a mafia. In mafia they say you can only join mafia, but you cannot leave mafia because that's very difficult. There is only one way. They drag you to lower and lower state of consciousness and finally to the hell. Living this life is difficult, and after dying also, because so much of sin is committed, we can't really go. We have to degrade ourselves out of ignorance. Anyway, that's mafia world. But on the other hand, Krishna consciousness, if we come, uh, it's very difficult to give up Krishna consciousness, no matter what. Purpose is once you join, you are dragged to success. And that is the compassion thing that we are trying to speak, we're trying to focus. So we will now go to Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, where there is a discussion about Putana. So not this one, the 10th canto. Yeah, good. That's the one. So here I will skip the Sanskrit shlokas. I'll go to the translation straight. With all of your permission. Yeah, that's good. So in this verse, it is described by Sukadeva Goswami that the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna is always situated within the core of the heart of the pure devotee, and is always offered prayers by such worshipable personalities as Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Brahma, Shiva, they are constantly offer worships or prayers to Krishna in their heart. Because Krishna embraced Putana's body with great pleasure. Now, this here just the story of Putana is coming. Now, Putana took the form of a beautiful mother damsel with a intention to serve Krishna, milk, but at the same time also with poison want to kill. Two intentions were there. Now, just think of it. As we will be reading the purport, we'll speak more about it. But for a moment, when she looked at Krishna, she was lost. Like many, even Kaliya, when he saw Krishna, for a moment he was lost. So attractive, so pure, so clean, such a fantastic personality. For a moment, they forget their sin completely, their desire to to harm Krishna, or their envious nature, all those things they just dissolve, disappear for some time. But again, they start acting on the platform of envy, lust, and all these anarthas. They take over and they act on the and they move under the sway of those anarthas. But the thing is, Krishna is in the picture. So therefore, the reciprocation that they get is actually much more. Although she wanted to kill, she got killed. That's the reciprocation in one platform. The other platform, because she desired to serve Krishna's mother, Krishna reciprocated, being giving the chance to become a mother. But the point is, she didn't want to become mother of Krishna. She just wanted to kill Krishna. But that feeling of mother is also inspired by Krishna's darshan. So, like many of us, like when I went to Radha Gopinath temple, I was studying. Many things were happening in life. I went and we saw the Radha Gopinath's beautiful form. And many of you are feeling separation from Radha Madan Mohanji. And sometimes Hansapriya and me, we go to look after some kind of maintenance work in the temple. So we have the good fortune of taking darshan of Madan Mohanji uh, at some time. Not every day. Of course, you are seeing darshan on your WhatsApp groups and things like that. But I'm sure many of you are feeling separation, from Radha Madan Mohan Darshan, the personal audience. So when I saw Radha Gopinath Ji Darshan, while going around places, for some time we get lost in that darshan, and we started speaking in our heart many things to the deities and trying to take their shelter, trying to serve, looking forward to serve, all these good things that manifest in the heart just because of darshan of the Lord. But again, metal world, and we are like kind of living in this ocean of waves of this metal creations, and things just go here and there sometime. That's the way. But because there is a connection with Krishna, that's the point I'm trying to bring. That compassion is so great, it will drag us back to the current. So, yes, Putana was coming with a very evil intention to destroy Krishna, but see what she's getting. Let's go back to the translation, please, again. I'll read it aloud. Uh, so, he's in the heart of everybody, because Krishna, now coming back from Shiva and Brahma, the Sukadeva Goswami is speaking how, because Krishna embraced Putana's body with great pleasure, like a child clinging mother's body, and sucked her breast. Although she was a great witch, She attained the position of a mother in the transcendental world and thus achieved the highest perfection. What then is to be said of the cows whose nipples Krishna sucked with great pleasure and who offered their milk very jubilantly with affection, exactly like that of a mother? So the cows had no intention to kill Krishna. They loved Krishna. These cows, like we know the story of Bahula, and there is a whole Bahula Ban in Vrindavan, how that cow, she loved Krishna, she loved her baby, and how Krishna protected her. That great story of Bahula. So these cows, they were very special, and they loved Krishna. That there was no envy. Now, what kind of reciprocation they must be getting from Krishna? That is the question Sukadev Goswami is asking here. So the purport by Srila Prabhupada, these verses explain how devotional service rendered to Supreme Personality of Godhead, whether directly or indirectly, knowingly or unknowingly, becomes successful. So here, like you do some service, you pay some little tax to government of government of the country we live, like for example USA now, and there is a pandemic, and suddenly you see your mailbox is filled with a big check, like a huge check. And that is called reciprocation like Krishna, you know. So Putana had some little tiny desire to serve Krishna's because that motherly things was inspired in her by seeing Krishna. It is not even her intention. The intention was also inspired by Krishna because of his greatness, his beauty, his tenderness, his softness. That small tiny Krishna inspired in a heart that is so hard, so much evil intentions are residing there. In such a difficult heart, Krishna inspired the feeling of a mother, and then rewarding her with the position of mother out of compassion. That is Krishna's reciprocation we're speaking about. That's what Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, it all speaks about Krishna's greatness. And yes, so she no embraced Krishna's small tiny body, motherly affection, but then that desire to kill again come surfaced in her mind. She was very focused on her, on her project, on her, goal to destroy Krishna, and she just did whatever she wanted to do. But anyway, she was destroyed. Please let us go back to the purport again. Uh, so, so he's saying the Lord took. So, nonetheless, in the beginning, she assumed the form of a very beautiful woman and approached Krishna exactly like an affectionate mother, so that Mother Yashoda and Rohini did not doubt her sincerity. So the Lord took all this into consideration. Krishna is thinking, and thus she was automatically promoted to the position like that of Mother Yashoda, as explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, the great Acharya. There are various roles one may play in such position. Putana was immediately promoted to Vaikuntha Loka, which is also sometimes described as Swarga, uh, like they say, Swargavasi, like that. The Swarga mentioned in this verse is not material heavenly planets, but the transcendental world. In Vaikuntha Loka, Putana attained the position of nurse Dhatri Uchitam, as described by Uddhava. So this Dhatri Uchitam, we'll go back to the another canto on Srimad Bhagavatam, and we'll discuss that, but not now. So Uddhava is describing this to Vedura later, this past time, and we'll go back to that for some time later. So Putana was elevated to the position of nurse and maid servant in Golaka Vrindavan to assist Mother Yashoda. Uh, is there something more remaining in the purport? No. So we'll go to the next verse. Let us go. Text 39 and 40 translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the bestower of many benedictions, including liberation, Kaivalya, or oneness with the Brahman effulgence. For that personality of Godhead, the gopis always felt maternal love, and Krishna sucked their breasts with full satisfaction. Therefore, because of the relationship as mother and son, although the gopis were engaged in various family activities, one should never think that they return to this material world after leaving their bodies. So what is happening because of connection with Krishna in a very affectionate way, in a positive way, if Putana could get liberation, then what to speak of all these gopis who always thought of Krishna, and some of them saw him as son, and some as friend, some as lover. So many different relationship, Navada Bhakti we see uh, in different rasas. They're connected to Krishna. Uh, so every one of them, what kind of reward they will receive, we cannot even imagine. So let us go to the purport here again. The advantage of Krishna consciousness is described herein. So when we are studying, we are in Krishna consciousness, we are doing something, some activity of Krishna consciousness in our life. So Srila Prabhupada is revealing what are the advantages. Krishna consciousness gradually develops on transcendental platform. So when we go to university, go to college, or go for a career in a job, profession, we grow. There is growth. And that growth, if we're living in a material platform, we can see, observe, and experience that growth. But when you do Krishna conscious activities, we do bhakti, we also grow, but that growth is not on a material platform, but on a transcendental platform. That growth is happening in a transcendental platform. So we may see some devotee is very rich, somebody is very poor, somebody is this, somebody is that. So these are all material platform. And we should not judge devotees by seeing a person in that platform. Uh, but we should rather see a devotee has a growth in a transcendental platform as well. And when we can go to that kind of platform, transcendental platform, we can see such growth. So in our life also, while we are living in this world, we are doing Krishna conscious activity. There is a growth in transcendental platform happening simultaneously. The more we put ourselves on that perspective of transcendence, to that extent, we can see the growth and feel satisfaction, feel happy, feel hankering for more growth. Excuse me. And in that way, we can try to grow more and more in Krishna consciousness. So therefore, Prabhupada is making a very nice point here. Krishna consciousness gradually develops on a transcendental platform. So please let us not mix that with our material life. That may be happening, may not be happening, but there is a growth. One may think of Krishna as a supreme personality, one may think of Krishna as a supreme master, or one may think of Krishna as supreme friend, or one may think of Krishna as supreme son, or one may think of Krishna as supreme conjugal lover. So these are the different ways the residents of Vrindavan connect with Krishna. So for us, the devotees, who are still trying to imbibe these teachings of Srila Prabhupada, pure teachings, and we have a material life, we have a spiritual life. There is a struggle between the two, being Tatastha Sakti. So the point is that is another rasa which Prabhupada has not spoken of here, because the pastime is happening in 10th canto. The Yashoda and all these devotees are great, and they have different relationship with Krishna. But the point I'm trying to bring is servitude, or serving Krishna in the mood of servant. That is something that we can always think of. And of course, all these devotees, great devotees, in their different flavor of rasa to serve Krishna, is actually service. At the end of the day, this is actually service. So the idea is that we have to somehow or other think of serving Krishna in some way or other. Mm. And these are some of the ways that one can think of Krishna in some different, let's say, friend. Krishna says, Surudam Sarvabhutanam, very clearly, that I am the best friend of all living entities. So this is something we can also connect to see Krishna as a friend. But better for us to see Krishna as master, who's also a friend. Like master can be a friend, like teacher can be a friend, right? Similarly, Krishna, who's our great master, is also a friend. We can connect something like that. But always that first step, we should not try to overcome as long as we're in the material platform, as a servant, as a servitude. So, Prabhupada is saying here, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.9, Taktva Deham Punarjanma Naiti Mam Eti. So that means one who's connected to Krishna in some way, in a service, in a mode of Krishna consciousness. So as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is confirming Taktva Deham Punarjanma. So that we know this world is a place where we take birth again and again and again. Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani Jatare Sayana. Sripad Sankaracharya, he speaks this. And that is so true. That is so true. And we have so many examples, so many experience in our own life also. If we think a little bit, we can understand a little bit what we are, or how our consciousness was in our last life, and how the great Krishna's help is coming our way. So these are things that we can always connect something to our previous life. Uh, you don't have to be really great astrologer or somebody to connect to previous life, but we know some samskara we're carrying on. We're carrying on our previous life. We can feel it. It is there. So, so this thing is happening. We're taking birth again and again and again. So now the point is, you know, uh, Krishna is guaranteeing. Krishna is giving guarantee that we can actually overcome this cycle. We can move away from this cycle, not remain in the cycle. So taktva deham punarjanma na iti. It is not going to happen again. There is a total freedom once and for all. That is possible. Na punah kalpate rajan samsaro jnana sambhava. So again, na punah kalpate rajan samsara. The samsara cycle, one can sambhavans. There is a possibility to come out of it. This verse also guarantees that devotees who constantly think of Krishna in a particular relationship will never return to this material world. So this is a little point, that constant thinking. So if we connect ourselves to Krishna, everything we do, every activity we do, somehow or other, if we connect to Krishna and think of Krishna in some way, that will be great help. So here, Srila Prabhupada is saying again, in this material world of samsara, there are the same relationships, like one has with Krishna in the spiritual platform. One thing, here is my son, here is my wife, here is my lover, here is my friend. But these relationships are temporary illusions. Ajnana sambhava. Such a consciousness awakens in ignorance. But when the same relationships awaken, I think we have to scroll up, Balram. Thank you. But when the same relationships awaken in Krishna consciousness, one's spiritual life is revived, and one is guaranteed to return home back to Godhead. So this is how you're going to go back to Putana throughout her sinful life. But for a moment, she thought of Krishna as her son. For a moment, just for a moment, maybe a fraction of a moment, that bhava manifest, and that bhava actually saved her. Uh, and here is Krishna's greatness. Of course, like all of us know, we have to follow the Acharya's teachings and not take exception as everything like Krishna. We might have some good thought about Krishna at some point of life for some fraction of a second, and we cannot demand that we have to be reciprocated accordingly. But we see that Krishna is actually great. Of course, all these gopis and gopas and the cows, they were the greatest of personalities. There is no doubt about it. And of course, Krishna reciprocates them. And in fact, Krishna says to gopis, in 10th canto only, is actually I cannot reciprocate with you. I'm unable to reciprocate. So, ye athamam prapadyanti. He says I reciprocate, but to the gopis he says I cannot reciprocate. I'm sorry. It's so difficult because your love is so overwhelming. Your devotion is so overwhelming. The spirit of sacrifice is so much that I don't think I can ever do it. Even I live for so many lifetimes and whatever he says under those context. But here Putana is giving little bit of affection to Krishna, and Krishna is rewarding so huge. Isn't that amazing? So Prabhupada is saying the advantage of Krishna consciousness beginning in this chapter. There is a lot of advantage. So of course, we can expect that if we serve Krishna, Krishna will be generous to us. That much we can always expect, and we should be convinced about it. And Krishna is promising so many things in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, so many examples he's going through his personality that we can very well and safely think that here is Krishna who's going to reciprocate. For tiny bit of whatever a little bit I do in Krishna consciousness, I'm going to be experiencing some reciprocation from Krishna, and which will be definitely overwhelming and huge. So coming back to the purport again. So one Prabhupada is saying, uh, but these relationships are temporary illusion. Agyana Sambhava. Uh, so even though, yes, Prabhu, I'm okay. Even though the gopis were friends of Rohini and Mother Yashoda, who allowed their breasts to be sucked by Krishna, were not directly Krishna's mothers. They had the same chance of as Rohini and Yashoda to go back to Godhead and act as Krishna's mothers-in-law, servants, and so on. The word samsara refers to the attachment for one's body, home, husband, or wife, and children. But although the gopis and all the other inhabitants of Vrindavan had the same affection, attachment for husband and home, their central affection was for Krishna in some transcendental relationship, and therefore they were guaranteed to be promoted to Golok Vrindavan in the next life, to live with Krishna eternally in spiritual happiness. So this is something I would really wanted to bring our focus on, that we may be living in family life. So this is what Srila Prabhupada is taking this example of 10th canto, example of life of devotees in this world, in this planet, while living with Krishna in Homa Vrindavan. So they have their family, they have their husband, their kids, they have affection for them, they have attachment for them, but at the same time, they had a strong attachment for Krishna simultaneously. This is what exactly Prabhupada is trying to tell us, to emulate this kind of feelings. Although having a relationship with our own family members, with our own friends, in this temporary world, temporary relationship, there is some attachment, it's going on. Uh, that's fine. As long as you're following the principle of Varnasam Dharma, that is very good, well and done. But simultaneously, if we cultivate a strong connection to Krishna in some way, then that affection for Krishna will manifest as some reward will be like really, really huge. So, so this their central affection was for Krishna in some transcendental relationship. That central attractions will be Krishna. So this is what Krishna Conscious Society ISKCON, is trying to give to the world. And we, as an instrument of Srila Prabhupada's compassion, the more we engage ourselves, the more we try to attract others to this path, it will have great benefit to the people in this world. And as much we can do, that will be really wonderful and nice. So that central affection was for Krishna in some relation. Therefore, they were guaranteed to be promoted to Golok Vrindavan in the next life, to live with Krishna eternally and in spiritual happiness. The easiest way to attain spiritual elevations, Prabhu, can you scroll up? So Prabhupada is now concluding the easiest way. Kali Yoga, as we are all lazy and crazy and stuff like that is happening all over, and we all want the easy path. And Prabhupada is saying here very clearly the easiest way to attain spiritual elevation, to be liberated from this material world and to go back home, back to God, is recommended by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Krishna samsara kara chhadiya nachar. So we have to accept Krishna in our life, and we have to get rid of all the anachar. Anachar means inappropriate behavioral action. Achara or activity, uh, it should be all based on Shastra, and there should be regulations. And anachara means all kind of different inappropriate activities. And as we live in this world, these influences of Kali Yuga will have on us, and we may deviate. We may, I'm not saying we have to, we may. But what Bhakti Thakur is saying, be sane, come to your senses, be sane, and give up all this anachar. Just give it up, all these negative activities, improper activities, and try to bring Krishna as your family, in your family. Krishna samsara kara, chadiya nachar. So one should give up all sinful activities and remain in the family of Krishna. Then one's liberation is guaranteed. So, so what is that guarantee? Guarantees Krishna himself. He reciprocates. He reciprocates. And in case of Putana and many other demons who approached Krishna in different ways, Krishna actually instantly killed them, finished their body. The moment they're killed, there is no scope for them to perform any sinful activities. The body is gone. All the desires, the mind is purified. Everything is because they came in contact directly with Krishna. All these demons, they're actually great yogis, but with the wrong desire. Uh, so they had great austerity, they have performed great austerities, so many things they have done to get all those siddhis, but they utilize those siddhis to, like Hiranyakashipu and many examples, they want to kill Krishna. But because they were thinking of Krishna very intensely, and they are able to actually come face to face with Krishna and fight with them, because of talk to Krishna, what he does, he actually finishes them. But in our life, we don't have that great fortune of coming in contact and being killed by Krishna, and we actually want to serve Krishna, and uh, so so therefore, time and again, because of influence of Kali Yuga, there may be problem come here and there, but the whole focus should be like Bhaktivinoda Thakur's teachings to us is give up all the negative things and bring Krishna to the center of our family life, and that will help us. And this reciprocation of Krishna is always glorified by the acharyas and great devotees. They feel great ecstasy when think of Putana. So here is now time is about to be 8 o'clock. Uh, is there any questions or comment at this stage before we go back to discussion between Uddhava and Vidura? Let us have some discussion, some question answer comments. I'm not good in engaging people in our conversation, but you are all welcome now. Yeah, yes, Balaram Prabhu, any comments, anything coming up? Any
Nothing
questions coming up?
online. We are waiting for people to comment right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you
That's
so
good to
much,
know.
Radhavallabha Prabhu. Thank you so much for such an engaging lecture. I was really what one of the points that stuck among all the wonderful gems that you have shared with us today was the fact that you mentioned that you feel separation from the large ships, and you and Hansapriya Mataji then go to the temple to be close to. And I was just thinking that when will I ever have that feeling of separation? I don't have that feeling of separation. I know there's God, and that you should serve him and you should do those things, but I don't have that instance. I was just appreciating that a lot.
We have to go to do some maintenance work, like some cleanliness of, because Ramanand Prabhu is alone. To help him, we have to do something a little bit. Yeah, that's good fortune. Yeah,
Always
thank
true.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, anybody else? Okay, then Balaram Prabhu, you have a point, Balaram Prabhu?
Yeah, I just had a small point. I like when Prabhupada was talking in the last purport. I think he was hinting at Shantarasa as just knowing that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. I think that kind of correlated with something I read before, where Shantarasa is simply an appreciation for the Lord. There's nothing more.
Yeah,
So I like how
beautiful.
Prabhupada kind of put this kind of active voice on that.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, that's true. Santa Rasa is like a calm and peaceful, but there is a deep appreciation for Krishna. Like the trees in Vrindavan, they're in Santa Rasa, but they feel great ecstasy upon seeing Krishna and Balaram. You know, they experience great bliss. They observe, they experience, they feel, but they're in Santa Rasa. They provide service in different way, providing shadow, providing leaves for the to put the prasadam bhoga, on the plate to eat. A different way they give warmth. They firewood also cooks the food. Then there's a tree serve Krishna in different ways. Hmm. So Santa Rasa, there is an indirect service and there is a great appreciation for the Lord. Mhm. So continuing this topic again, we go back to Canto 3, third canto, where Uddhava and Vidura are discussing. Vidura is actually on a pilgrimage because this war was upcoming in Hastinapur between Kauravas and Pandavas, and he was insulted by Duryodhan, so he just left on pilgrimage. And while he was going places to places, he was performing many austerities and trying to purify himself. He is already pure. There is no doubt about it. But sometimes, what happens when we come in contact with impure people, sinful people, it may affect our consciousness, and we need to do austerity. Like, for example, when Bhrigu came to test Vishnu, whether he's supreme or not. Actually, again, Bhrigu was also appointed by other sages. He's also pure. But for the pastime's sake, he actually went and kicked Lord Vishnu. And Lakshmi, who's constantly massaging feet of the Lord, she witnessed that and she felt contaminated because of that act. That act of kicking, it's a sinful act in one sense, and she felt contaminated because of that. Although Lakshmi is again all pure, like Vyuda is all pure, but then to cleanse that contamination, she goes down and performs tapasya. That's Mahalakshmi in Kolhapur in Maharashtra. The deity is still there, who's performing tapasya. And then Lord Vishnu comes down, and then that Balaji and that whole pastime happens in Balaji Tirupati. We know the story. What the point is, Vyudara also, because of association with Duryodhana and all this, negative party, he was influenced. He was not influenced. He was like experienced those, witnessed those contaminations, and he was going around taking bath, doing tapasya to purify himself, constantly thinking of Krishna. And then he meets Uddhava at some point, I think next to Yamuna River, in his journey. And he asks about all these people, Krishna and Balaram and the Yadus and the Pandavas. And he asks so many questions about all these people, thinking about them. Now, when devotees meet, like Krishna says, mat kata mat chita prana bodhyanta parasparam kathayanta samam nityam tushyanti charamanti cha. That when devotees meet, they inquire about me. They talk about me. Kathayantasya mam nityam. Constantly they talk about me. That's the sign of love, that we speak about a person again and again. That means there is love. There's a lot of love about the personality. So when devotees meet, because their common love is on Krishna, is about Krishna, they naturally speak about Krishna to each other, and they feel great ecstasy while discussing such topic about Krishna. Kathayantasya mam nityam tushyanti. They derive great satisfaction, nourishment, ramanti. They get a lot of pleasure. Tushyanticha ramanticha. So like that, there's satisfaction and there is pleasure, ramanti. Great transcendental bliss and pleasure. So Uddhava and Vidura, they meet, and immediately their thought goes about description of Krishna. And Vidura is asking these questions to Uddhava, and Uddhava, for some time, he becomes silent because the thoughts of Krishna overwhelms his heart, tears coming out of his eyes, and he's not able to speak for some time. Then he starts speaking one after other that Krishna is actually, he left us, he left this universe, and there is only darkness and kind of, when somebody is very close to us, they pass away, we feel a lot of vacuum. Unfortunately, this coronavirus, we lost His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami's association. And for some time, we feel a vacuum. We feel a vacuum. It's suddenly a vacuum in life. Just imagine how much vacuum Uddhava must be experiencing on all of them. Not just Lord Krishna, but Balaram and all the Vrindavan, all the Yadus also. they are related to him, everybody disappeared, just disappeared. And there must be a big, huge vacuum. But he continued to live because Krishna instructed him to, so that he can actually reveal Krishna's more and more through the in the through this kind of dialogue, talks, and discussion. And here is such thing is happening with Vidura. And while discussing all this, Prabhu, can we go to the text number 23, I guess? That Aho Bakiyam Stanakalakutam. Yeah. So here Uddhava is speaking about greatness of Krishna's reciprocation. So, Aho Bakiyam Stanakalakutam Jigham Sayapayat Api Sadhavi. Asadhavi. Asadhavi means she was not a sadhu. She was not even a sadhu. Asadhu. But because she developed that small desire to serve Krishna, Krishna has rewarded her with a role of Dhatri. Leve, Krishna Prabhupada said, Leve means achieved, or Lava. Lava means profit. You know, it's actually profit. Profit means something we get more than we actually like. If I give you a bowl of a grain of rice, then in reciprocation I may get a bowl of mung dal or something like that. Equal, right? That's called bartering system. But profit means once we give one bowl of rice, but we get two bowl of rice in reciprocation. That is called profit or lava. So Putana is actually benefited. He got profit. She derived profit from little bit that she thought of serving Krishna as son. That's all. So she achieved what is usually not achievable even for the great yogis because of Krishna's direct reciprocation. Leve gatim dhatri uchitam. Uchitam means she was designated. She was just suitable for the nas. Dhatri uchitam. Tataha, beyond whom. So kamba dayalum saranam bhajema. So this word dayalu is used here. So the compassion. So from reciprocation, yeah, thamam prapadyante, tam sathaiva. The as one approach me, I reward. That's like bartering, you know. You give something, I give something back. Just like business. But here, love, affection, trust, and all those higher emotions and sentiments and values are demonstrated by the Supreme Lord by rewarding, by giving love or profit to this personality, Bhutana, who was a sadhu. So this is something that is really amazing about Krishna's personality. Kamba dayalum saranam bhajema. So who would not surrender to such a great personality as Supreme Lord Krishna? Well, read the translation. Let's go down a little bit. Alas, how shall I take shelter of one more how shall I take shelter of one more merciful than he who granted the position of mother as a sea demon, Putana, to a sea demon, although she was unfaithful and she prepared deadly poison to be sucked from her breast. So this is a question mark, Uddhava is speaking. That to Vidura, that who else should we surrender other than this great personality, Krishna? So here is Krishna's greatness, Krishna's compassion. And therefore, Uddhava is basically telling to Vidura, telling all of us that how much we should be willing to serve Krishna. Now, here is something I want to say that when we experience such kind of reciprocation, such kind of love, then it becomes our responsibility in one sense, our responsibility that how we can also reciprocate with such love and greatness. It's not that when we hear that Krishna is giving such and such a reward, so we also do bad things and expect a reward like that. That will be not good. That will be duplicity. And that is definitely not good. So on the other hand, being devotees, when we hear and heard such pastimes, we should be willing to give up like anachar. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, we have to give up all the anachars, whatever is anachar, other desires, negative desires that we may get influenced because of the age and time. We should sing Krishna's greatness. We should be inspired. That's what Krishna consciousness is. It inspires us to give up the bad thing, right? It's inspiration. It is not a force. It is not something that we impose or force on our day-to-day activity, but rather it is something that inspires us to get rid of these things, get rid of these things, and serve that great personality Krishna who is so compassionate. So this is the point I was trying to bring. So let us read the purport and we'll take question answers. Then so here is an example of extreme mercy of the Lord, even to his enemy. It is said that a noble man accepts the good qualities of a person of doubtful character. This is the devotee. Devotee, they see the positive in some personality and they get attracted by that personalities, that positive qualities. Just as one accepts the nectar from a stalk of poison. If there is nectar, even in a stalk of poison, we can accept, we can take it. Or the honey, the honeybee's example is given. Honeybee, they even if the lotus grows in a pond of mud, contaminated and other things are there, but if the lotus is there, the bee will be attracted to the lotus and take the honey out of it. So in his babyhood, he was administered deadly poison by Putana, as a she demon who tried to kill the wonderful baby. And because she was a demon, it was impossible for her to know that the Supreme Lord, even though playing the part of a baby, was no one less than the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although he was a baby, but he is still the Supreme Person. His value as the Supreme Lord did not diminish upon his becoming a baby to please his devotee Yashoda. The Lord may assume the form of a baby or a shape other than that of a human being, but doesn't make the slightest difference. He is always the same Supreme, a living creature. However powerful he may become by dint of his severe penance, can never become equal to the Supreme Lord. Let's go down. Lord Krishna accepted the motherhood of Putana because she pretended to be an affectionate mother. So here you can see again, she actually pretending. She was pretending that she is a mother. But still Krishna accepted, allowing Krishna to suck her breast. The Lord accepts the last qualification of living entity. The Lord accepts the least qualification of the living entity, the least qualification, and awards him the highest reward. So this is the point. That is the standard of his character. That is the standard of his greatness. Therefore, who but the Lord can be ultimate shelter? So this is Krishna's compassion, and we read it again and again in Bhagavatam, so many places, so many examples. And this inspires us to give up anachar and take to Krishna's shelter and derive great pleasure discussing these pastimes and get connected with him. Hare Krishna. Thank you all. Now this platform is open for discussion and comments and questions. I'll be very happy to take.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Madhav Prabhu.
So, Prabhu, I was thinking of this, that as you're sharing about Krishna, similarly, Srila Prabhupada, he saw very small good quality in hippies and he converted them to devotees, just seeing a small good quality amongst them.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you. Yeah, Srila Prabhupada is definitely, he is the Acharya for the modern age, who inspired this pure spiritual culture in like I was thinking, I cook and prasadam and we are serving. It is happening so automatic in our life. But think of situation like it was so difficult when I go out and try to give cooking classes to those who are not devotees. Those are even vegetarians. It's so difficult to tell them to take out onion garlic from the food, which is more of ignorance and which cannot be offered to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, he he actually kindled the purity in the kitchen. He purified everyone house kitchen, and so many places, so many families, so many people, so many Western or Indian, even Indians. Uh, so we can see that Prabhupada is greatness. His greatness is bringing this prasadam is so wonderful that we are actually eating prasadam every day. Can you think of it? Every day, every meal is prasadam that we're eating nowadays. That's glorious. This is a huge act done so effectively by Srila Prabhupada. When I think of it, I get overwhelmed. I mean, this is something impossible to do in one sense, it's impossible to do. But Srila Prabhupada has actually done it. So in this way, you can Prabhupada, its contribution, Prabhupada's, compassion is unfathomable. Yeah. So that's how, because of he saw the small good thing in people and inspired Fan the Spark. I think there is a website or website page, Fan the Spark, right? So he Fan the Spark inspired them to an extent that they can take up such lifestyle. Yes, bro. Thank you for that point. Any other?
There is one by Karuna Prabhu online. So
Yes, bro.
Prabhu is sharing a power phrase. The Lord accepts the least qualification of the living entity and awards him the highest award. That is the standard of his character.
Yeah, that's the purport. Yes. Thank you, bro. Anybody else? Sadha Mataji, you have any comments? You speak every day Bhagavad Gita, so.
There's mercy of the Vaishnavas. So I was also thinking about how about Putana, of course, and how the Lord just chose to ignore the bad part of her and just took the good part, that she was just the mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I was I was reminded of Krishna's verse on Apichet Suduracharo Bhaste Mamanane Bhag, that how difficult it is for us to do that, right? When we see a small amount of aberration somewhere in somebody's devotional service, we tend to blow it out of proportion, mentally, if not physically, at least mentally, do the criticism like that.
Yeah.
So Krishna is
that's important. Thank you, Mother. That's a beautiful point, actually. I have seen my Guru Maharaj Swami Maharaj, how he helped devotees in difficult situations. Proper disciples, God brother, God sisters, he actually helped them in difficult situations, inspired them and helped them to practice that Krishna consciousness. This is very important as devotees, as friends. Like a mother never sees the negative in their babies, they see the positive. It's not that somebody is doing something like very criminal and bad thing, we should ignore it. I mean, there has to be some system of justice, and uh, so the something that is really bad, ugly, it has to be dealt with. It has to be dealt with properly. We should not ignore it. This child abuse and all those things, it has to be dealt properly. But at the same time, somebody who's struggling, suffering, we have to show an element of compassion and try to help the person to come out of it. And that will be really good and great. That is something that I would like all of us to learn from that. Krishna's example and Prabhupada's example, so many examples are there. Yes, Mataji, thank you. That's a nice, wonderful point.
Yeah.
And please correct me if I go anywhere wrong. Please correct me.
Yeah, I was also thinking about, like how we, at least myself, being in the computer industry for such a long time, we just come up with algorithms and A plus B is equal to C. and that's what it will be always. 2 plus 2 is 4, always like that. But if you look at if we look at Krishna's approach and his different behaviors and his different decisions depending on different situations. For example, for Putana, he just chose to ignore the intentions and just focused on that action. And on the other hand, with Vidura, he focused on the intentions of Vidura when Vidura was peeling the bananas and giving him the peels and throwing it the bananas like that. And so it's amazing. It's such a fine art to be able to do that in our life.
Yeah, and actually we see sometimes Krishna is very hard on his devotees. The Putana he gave very quick liberations, but on devotees is very hard. Like Pandavas had to go through so much of trouble and tribulations. Uddhava, he wanted to come. He's loved Krishna from his childhood. From baby he was 5. He would not even come to breakfast. It is said in the Bhagavatam. His mother would call him for breakfast, but he was so much absorbed in Krishna, he would not go for breakfast. Now kids in the early morning they're really hungry, right? The kids cry for food in the morning. When the mama is little late, they cry. And here Uddhava was so absorbed in Krishna that even mother would be calling for breakfast, he would not go to eat. So absorbed. And now he is old. He's a retired stage, and Vidura is asking questions. Vidura is asking question, and he's again absorbed. He forgets the whole world outside him, inside him. Just again stuck in Krishna. Think of Krishna and in ecstasy. So throughout he was so Krishna conscious, so perfectly Krishna conscious. But Krishna is telling him that you don't come with me, you stay here. He's hard on him. He's not giving him the liberation that he actually deserves. He deserves to go back to God. He's just, no, you stay here. Like Hanumanji, Lord Ram loves him so much. He loves Ram so much. Ram says, you stay here. It sounds very strange, but he's hearing Ram Katha, he's always present, Chiranjeevi. It sounds strange, but that's how Krishna sometimes appears to be hard on his devotees. And that's the difference, I think that's the difference between people with evil intention, but coming to Krishna, and those who are actually with all good intentions with Krishna, and they were actually. So Srila Prabhupada and great Acharya also, some of them really, Acharyas descend from spiritual world to preach Krishna consciousness. In that sense, they may not like to come, but Krishna tells them, go and do these things. So that's the different aspect again. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Paul.
Radhavallabha Das, Prabhu. This is Vijaya Krishna Das calling from Portugal.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Yes, and I am interested in these Zoom meetings, ISKCON of Silicon Valley. Am I right?
Prabhu. Yes, you are right.
So if I may ask, I have the feeling that this one is almost ending.
Yes, we have say another 5 minutes, bro. 4 minutes.
So if you can tell me when the next one.
Oh, Balram Prabhu, can you help him answering this question? Or
On the chat box, please.
Yeah, so I was thinking, Balram, while you're bringing that up, I was just going to tell Madhav Prem Prabhu that since you're also on Zoom, if you can post that link by which Vijay Krishna Das Prabhu can join our ISV Connect mailing group so that he'll be aware and informed about all the classes that are coming up. The next one this week is as part of the ISV programs is by Vaisheshika Das Prabhu. It is a Japa circle that he'll do in the morning on Saturday, which will be 7 o'clock in the morning, our time. We are in California. It's in California like that. But
yes, Shraddha Devi Dasi Mataji. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And
yeah, but still, I have a question to ask from Radhavallabha Das Prabhu.
Sure, Prabhu.
May I?
Sure. Please go ahead.
Yes, Prabhu. I see that you. I see that you are dressing in white, using the traditional dress for men called kurta, no? You're using
Yes, it is.
a white kurta.
It's a white kurta with a collar. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes. So my question is related to traditional Vaishnava dressing.
Okay.
So how to dress? My question is it that dressing as a Vaishnava,
Yeah.
dressing as a Vaishnava means to also please the Lord?
Yes, Prabhu. Everything a devotee do, everything a devotee does is basically to please the Lord. Whether putting tilak or wearing dress, everything a devotee does, the consideration whether Krishna will be happy when Krishna sees me. So another attribute of Krishna consciousness or devotional life is simplicity. Okay. So the clothings the Vaishnava wears, they're basically very simple in a devotional, simple environment. Uh, but then when we go out to work, to places where we have a certain role, like when you go to school, we have to wear school uniform, for example. We can't avoid it, right? Because we have a certain role there. To display that role, we dress accordingly. So in the same day-to-day work, when we go around to places, to office, to meetings, we have to dress. Uh, but then always like a gentleman or nice lady, we have to wear clothes. Okay,
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. And just one last question. Is it that we can find dressing in the mood of ignorance, dressing in the mood of fashion, and dressing clothes in the mood of goodness?
yes, of course, of course. Three modes, everywhere it is there. In dressing is also. So mode of ignorance dressing is a dirty, shabby, or revealing type dress, not properly covering. These are a mode of ignorance. Even something very expensive cloth, but if it is not properly covering the body, it is also mode of ignorance. A mode of passion is like that actually. A lot of to display body and attraction. That is mode of passion, dressing mode of passion. But dressing mode of goodness is cool, calm to the mind, peace to the mind. Yeah.
And,
Thank you, Prabhu.
and when you dress to please the Lord, how do you dress? Kurt and dhoti?
Yeah, in the temple, Prabhu. Yeah, temple. When you go temple, please wear such thing. On devotional environment, we wear such dresses. But for, as I said, in the school, other places, we have to wear our proper, appropriate uniform.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I understand. Thank you very much for your answers. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, so there is one comment by Karuna Prabhu online.
Sure.
He's saying he's sharing a reflection. Krishna himself
Sure.
inspired the spark of motherly affection in Putana and also reciprocated in greater way and gave her position of nurse in Golok Vrindavan, besides killing the she demon. Krishna is most merciful and most powerful.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. That's nice. That's the gist of the class. He summarized very nicely in the comment. Thank you. So we'll have a 5 minutes kirtan, then we'll end the program. I will chant Narsimha Arati. So all of you can follow with me. I mean, I think we have to mute everybody, but you can be with me in my kirtan.
So before we mute everybody, Maharaj, I just Radhavallabha Prabhu, I just wanted to let Vijay Krishna Prabhu know that Madhav Prem Prabhu has posted the link on the Zoom chat for you to join our announcement group.
Yes, Shraddha Devi Dasi Mataji, I already have it on the chat box.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes,
Okay.
Thank you very much for your mercy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Namaste Narasimhaya Ladadai Hiranyakasi Purvakshaha Shilatanka Nakhalaya Ito Narsimha Parato Narsimha Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimha Ahir Narsimha Hridaye Narsimha Narsimha Madem Saranam Prapade Amakara Kamala Hare Nakha Adbhuta Sringa Dalita Hiranyakasipu Tanubhanga Kesabadhrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jayo Kesabadhrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jayo Jagadisha Hare Jayo Narasimhadev 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 Jayo Narasimhadev Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Jayo Prahlad Maharaj Prahlad Maharaj Jai Prahlad Maharaj Prabhupada 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 Jayo Srila Prabhupada Jayo Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gora Hari Bol Lakshmi Narasimha Bhagavan ki jai प्रहलाद महाराज की जय श्री राधा मदन मोहन श्रीमद महाप्रभु की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय समवेत गौर भक्त बंद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल थैंक यू ऑल हरे कृष्णा
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
हरे बोल
Thank you,
Simple,
Prabhupada.
हरि बोल
Quick
हरि बोल
announcement before we end. It's actually Rohini's birthday today.
Yeah, I was thinking about Rohini when I was chanting in Narsimharati because I remember her birthday. So many, many happy returns and happy birthday to Rohini. Nice devotee in ISP. Is she there somewhere?
Yes, she is behind the
Okay.
deep.
Okay.
Speech, Rohini. Hare
Then,
Krishna.
Dhoni, can you start your video so we can
Hi.
see?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please,
Hare Bol.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, that's yours.
She's shy.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol.
Shraddha Devi Dasi Mataji.
Yes.
What is the meaning of PDT? 7 a.m. PDT. What is the meaning of PDT?
Oh, Prabhu, PDT means Pacific Daylight Time. So you might want to convert that into your local time in Portugal, is where you said, right? You are from?
Yes, Portugal, exactly.
Yeah. So this is the time in USA in California. So you might want to add.
Silicon Valley?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I will make the conversion. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Yeah, I've given a link at that will be good. Yeah.
Yes, everything is here. The link for me to register, everything is here.
Right. Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Mother Prem Prabhu, for sending that. So, I was wondering, Radhavallabha Prabhu, whether you'd like to sing Vanja Kalpatru for Roni.
Yeah, Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Patitanam Pavanebhyo. Rohini, Namaha.
Hare
Hare Krishna to you. Hare
Thank
Ram
you
to
so much.
you. And all the
Radhavallabha
blessings, all the devotees are blessing you, all the devotees are praying for you. And a nice Tulsi Maharani behind you.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
All the best. We wish
Hare
you all the
Krishna.
best. Thank
Thank you
you.
Happy
so
birthday,
much.
Rohini. Wish you all the best. You're such a nice, simple-hearted devotee, and you serve Radharani so nicely. I'm sure she will bless you with everything best in your life, and my prayers.
Haribol. Haribol. Haribol.
Thank you so much, Gandharvika Mataji. Please
Haribol.
keep me in your prayers. Thank you.
Definitely.
For those of you who don't know, Rohini had her first grain ceremony from the lotus hands of Vaisheshika Prabhu.
Haribol.
And also, she's the first ISV born child.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. I'm very grateful to have you all in my life. So please, all of you bless me so that I can continue to serve Sri Sri Radhamadan Mohan Mahaprabhu, Nishingadev Srila Prabhupada, Vaisheshika Prabhu, and all the devotees at ISV. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol. Haribol. Haribol.
Rohini Mataji, happy birthday from Portugal.
Oh, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Vijay Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Happy birthday, Rohini.
Thank
Haribol,
you.
we love you so much.
Thank you, Prema Kishari Mataji. Hare
Happy
Krishna.
birthday, Rohini. Happy birthday.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Nice to see you. Thank you for the blessings.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday, Rohini.
Haribol Monisha. Thank you so much.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday, Rohini.
Thank you, Advait.
Happy birthday, Rohini. If we were at the temple, we would have got your feast.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Thank you, Hansapriya Mataji.
All blessings, Rohini. I don't know what I will do without you for all the help that you give me behind the scenes.
Thank you so much. I don't know what I would do without you.
Hare Krishna, Rohini Mataji, Shubha Janmadin.
Thank you,
Shubha
Prabhuji.
Janmadin. Yes.
Thank you so much.
Birthday. Happy birthday,
Hare Krishna.
Rohini. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sunita Mataji and Pravya Prabhu.
Happy Krishna conscious birthday, Rohini.
Oh, thank you so much.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Happy birthday, Rohini.
Haribol Balaram. Thank you so much for the blessings and prayers. Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Haribol.
Thank you, Monisha.
You're all missing each other, right?
Yes, I'm missing all of you very, very much. Yes, I hope to see all of you very soon.
Sure. Yeah, whenever Krishna wants.
Yes.
Yeah, so we now take leave. Haribol.
Haribol.
Balaram Prabhu.
Thank
Yes,
you,
we're
Prabhuji.
ending the
Thank you very
live
much.
stream right now. Thank you for joining.
Yeah.